When a 3 Michelin star restaurant loses one of its stars, it can be devastating both for the restaurant and for the chef. But this is not the case when it comes to Jean-Georges von der Richten. He has held his chin up high and has continued to develop his flagship restaurant and his restaurant empire, which have over 60 outlets across the world. I'm very excited over this restaurant visit today, and I can give a little bit of a spoiler alert here that I think it's actually about time that Jean-Georges regain his 3rd Michelin star, because the quality of this dinner was incredibly high. So please, together with me, sit back and enjoy while I'll take you through this gastronomic evening at Jean-Georges' flagship restaurant in New York. Jean-Georges grew up on the outskirts of Strasbourg in Alsace in France, and he trained under many famous chefs, among others Paul Haberlin and Paul Bocuse. After the impressive background working in France, he moved to Asia, and that's really where he found the foundation for his very unique personal cooking style, which you will see throughout this evening. The dining room is absolutely stunning, and what really stands out for me here is the table setting, which is so elegant and nice, with those small flower decorations that are not taking too much space but really just lifts everything in a really elegant way. What I also like is that they have those decoration plates on the table that look really natural in their shape, and they're really adding to a beautiful setting when you're seated down at this table. There's a 10 and 6 course menu to choose from, and they also have a vegetarian option and a menu with all the classics that Jean-Georges has developed throughout the years in this restaurant. Tonight I'm gonna opt for the 6 course menu because I see that they have the egg toast on that, and I really want to try that dish. Before digging into the menu with the first course, we were offered 3 beautiful different snacks.
So to begin your meal, we welcome you with a trio of small bites. Closest to you, this is Santa Barbara sea urchin over toasted pumpernickel, layered with Vermont dairy butter, finished with yuzu glaze and serrano chili. On the top left, we have Tasmanian sea trout sashimi marinated with soy honey, draped over crisp nashiki rice with chipotle aioli, and a small cup of watercress soup with Meyer lemon foam.
The Santa Barbara sea urchin had really deep flavor, and I really liked the contrast here with the yuzu that gave a nice acidity. The sea trout sashimi was gorgeous, and the use of chipotle aioli gave a nice heat, which we will find in many of the other dishes to come. And the watercress soup was warm and herbaceous and had a very nice subtle flavor to it. This was a really strong start of all the snacks here. And now finally we come to the egg toast, and the expectations on this dish is just through the roof, and it's so beautiful to look at here, and I've been wanting to try this dish for several years, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it performs. The flavors here are just to die for, and starting with the Ossetra caviar, it's absolutely not too salty, and it brings just enough of that saltiness to break through the fattiness from the egg yolks and the creaminess that they provide. And then simply you just have the toast there for a textural element, and then you have the herbs that is just bringing a little bit of a different flavor profile to the dish, but it's absolutely not taking over anything from the caviar and the egg. It's not easy to live up to expectations when you really have wanted to try something for a long time, but this is so good and it really does exactly that. When it comes to the bread, we were offered 3 different kinds here, and starting from the left we had a classic Levain sourdough bread, followed by a sesame white bread, and then we had a more rustic rye bread to the right there. I tried first the Levain toast, and it was extraordinary quality of the bread and also the butter that they provided here.
Your next course, Mad-Eye Sashimi or Japanese snapper, marinated with fresh wasabi and sea salt, rolled with Koyo strawberry, and then finished with a Sakura strawberry gelée and a Sakura cherry blossom vinegar.
The colors of this dish is just absolutely amazing to look at, and digging into the flavors here, there is so much going on, and the complexity is in an incredibly high level. And starting with the strawberries, they are bringing that nice and fruity flavor here to the dish, and also accompanied by the cherry blossom that is giving another complexity that is just lifting everything in this dish in a nice way. And then of course you have the sashimi that is folded around the plate here in a very nice way, and the small leaves here that is just bringing another note of flavor that is popping in your mouth. Absolutely beautiful to eat, and you can really see Jean-Georges' expertise here in working with the both heatness from the wasabi and also the high notes of acidity that you have here on this plate. Truly divine.
You are now looking at our English tea and prawn dumpling, served with market herbs and finished with a Pernod lemongrass broth.
You can really see the influences here that Jean-Georges has picked up from his time in Asia, and it's quite bold move here to actually use a dumpling in a 2 Michelin star establishment in New York of one of the finest seats in the city. But I think it's justified because I mean it's all again to the quality of the ingredients here, and the prawns were of absolutely divine quality. They were so sweet and so succulent, and all the other ingredients that were on this plate really just supported that core ingredients in a good way. So both the cilantro, the peas and the lemongrass broth that they poured here at the end had really nice subtle flavors, but they didn't take an overhand, but they were just lifting the prawn dumplings in a really remarkable way. Next up we were served a halibut that was beautifully cooked, and it was together with some ramps and a fennel gremolata and a sunflower ajo blanco. And ajo blanco is normally made with almonds, and here they use the sunflower seeds instead, and it has also a really good kick of garlic and acidity. This is such an interesting dish here because you're really playing around with a lot of ingredients in existing concepts that you are familiar with as a customer. It's just that they're presented in new ways. So for instance they're using the fennel gremolata that is normally made out of parsley, etc. And this dish is just wonderful, and I keep on saying that, but that is just because they are really great, and it's a high quality of all the dishes that are coming out from the kitchen. Perfectly cooked halibut here, and having the texture elements of the gremolata and the sunflower seeds there that are, you know, scattered around on top of the fish, giving a lot of good texture, and also used there in the ajo blanco, which is bringing a high acidity and a lot of garlicky punch, as I said before. Everything works in really good harmony here, even though it is quite pungent flavors that the chef is working with, but again, he is so delicate on using these strong ingredients so they really can stand up in a 2-star Michelin establishment like this. As our last savory course, we had the Wagyu beef tenderloin that was together with some asparagus, and there were also some smoked morels and a sancho peppercorn béarnaise sauce. For me at least, you cannot ask for a better way to end the savory part of a fantastic meal. I absolutely love beef, and what better way than to have the Wagyu beef tenderloin in a dish like this. Also asparaguses that are in season, and morel mushrooms, as you may know, is my favorite mushroom, and then the béarnaise sauce, and that is also one of my favorite sauces. So I'm very happy to see that this is the final part of the savory dishes. The beef has such a deep flavor to it, and it cuts like butter when you're running your knife through it. The asparagus as well is beautifully cooked and al dente to the touch. The morel mushrooms that had that lightly smoked character just brings it to another level, and also brings more complexity to the overall dish. And then when it comes to the béarnaise sauce, one of my favorite sauces, here they have really stepped up the acidity note to absolutely max without it even disturbing the other ingredients on the plate. And then having that sancho peppercorn that is really bringing a little bit more heat into the sauce, but also some flavor notes that I haven't had in a béarnaise sauce before. This was really ending the savory part in a really high note, and I wasn't feeling overly full, but really just happy with all of the fantastic dishes that has come out from the kitchen so far. So let's jump into the dessert and sweet section now. For dessert, the kitchen has made a take on a Black Forest gâteau, and it was a beautiful presentation here to look at with a chocolate decoration of the forest trees here, and then you had some vanilla cream on top that was fluffy and light as a cloud, and then underneath there you had some glazed cherries and almonds. I really like that they're ending the meal here with just one big dessert instead of having maybe 2 or 3 different variations of something, and I think that means that they can put a lot more energy and focusing on getting this creation just right, and then you can enjoy it more because you will have more of it. It's a classic combination this with the Black Forest Gâteau, and I think that they're using of course quality ingredients here, and the last time I tasted cherries like this was actually in Paris at Le Maurice in the 2 Michelin star restaurant that they have in the hotel there. But otherwise, I mean, the vanilla cream is just, you know, more than a vanilla cream that you will make at home. It's so fluffy and nice. And then you have the chocolate pieces and everything going around in this dessert. A true joy to eat, and I really love the ending here with this one.
Mignon D and Petit Four chocolates. They're an extension of your dessert. I'll go through them with you, and then please choose whatever you'd like. Ladies first, of course.
We are ending our meal with some beautiful Petit Fours here, and as you can see there's a lot to choose from, and I just asked our head waiter here to make a plate with whatever he thought was good, and he of course took basically one of each. So what did I think then about my visit here to Jean-Georges up on Columbus Circle in New York? Well, I have to say that I'm really impressed of the quality of the dishes that has come out from the kitchen this evening. Everything has really been at a high quality, and the way that the chefs are working here with using acidity and heat and exciting flavor profiles is just unbelievable. So I'm gonna put the food rating here at 95 points, and I think that this restaurant really deserves to have its 3rd Michelin star back, and I would be very surprised if we don't see that in the near future. Coming to the service, and also on that note, I mean, the head waiter that we had for us this evening was just absolutely wonderful, explained the dishes in a really good way, attentive on all the different details that were necessary for us throughout the evening. So I'm gonna put that rating also on 95 points. And last but as always not least, we are coming to the value scoring here, and how do you value a restaurant that is cooking on the absolutely highest level like this one is? But of course the price point is extremely high. But you have to take into consideration here that running a restaurant like this with all the staff that is required, the location of this restaurant among other things is of course expensive. So I'm gonna put the value rating here at 84 points, which means it's in the later part of good value for this, which I think is a fair rating for this restaurant. So with that said, it's time to end this episode from Jean-Georges restaurant in New York. I hope you liked this content. If you did, please like and subscribe. It would really help me to grow this channel. And until next time, bye bye.